Marcellus and I talked all night. Unfortunately, my camera cut off and I didn't even notice, so some of our talk didn't get recorded. He did leave me with a lot of information though. The DS now all reside in the woods, but some pose as regular people to work in commercial settings or to just do commissions. No one's mad at them as long as it's what they want to do. They are all proud of what they're doing. They make sure the honor system and their history remains a big part of their lives.
I would say I'm proud that it's come this far. However, I'm not content.
There's always that part of yourself that thinks, I could have done more. I want to do more. But I'm also young, so I can make that happen.
I don't necessarily think that my art has improved. I have just improved as a person.
Well, I've improved in that I've matured as a person, and that changes my art just through simple life experiences. And then in opening up as a person, and being open to the world and being open to receiving so that I can take in and then turn into the art and give back.
I think that in a lot of ways, making my art makes me a better person. And it makes me feel like I'm a productive member of this world.
Yeah, every waking minute of my life has been valuable, precious, a learning experience. It's been, looking back, my life has been beautiful. I'm grateful to keep on living it.
Yeah, I have a long way to go in life, but what I have learned, I wouldn't trade for the world. And the things I have accomplished have been phenomenal, stepping stones.
And, from the perspective of where I grew up and, coming out of the environment I came out of, it was a beautiful thing to, to move to another city and push boundaries and be allowed to push boundaries, artistic boundaries, whether it's a project, exhibition, a class, or curricula, different visual arts curricula that I may have organized or designed, So, it was, I always knew I would be an artist, but I didn't know what journey I was going to take to get there.
I have reached a level of openness where I can just simply state how I feel. I can simply express what it is that I'm going through, emotionally, what I'm thinking about, with precision.
It's easier for me to learn about new mediums and to try new things and to make work that's really different than what I've done in the past. It's a lot easier because I think that I'm at a point in my life where my confidence allows me to realize that not everything has to be perfect. And not everything is going to be something that you're going to want other people to see. But it's also part of the process of getting better at what you do. And if you can learn something even from your mistakes, then that's a good day.
I've always felt unstoppable. But now even more because the confirmation for believing in that is that you're achieving your goals. Little by little, you're moving forward. Forward motion is better than no motion.
I'm still in the act one of my life, and everything I've done so far has been accordingly. So hopefully as I live on, you're going to see the rest of what I have to say, and by the end of it all, you'll be able to look back and say, oh, this is who he was, this is what he stood for.
Whether it's a musician, visual artist, I think that you never get to the point of being finished. It's like learning. Learning is, you'll always learn. It's like infinite. Knowledge is infinite. So as long as that is the way it is, knowledge is infinite, images are infinite, sound is infinite. You'll always be on a mission.
There's always going to be work to do. There is no paragon, there is no utmost point of perfection. I think the only perfection that there is imperfection. So in a way, there is a beautiful system at work. Now, I call it nature, and it has flaws, but it covers up its flaws, actually, seamlessly.
Because you're always learning, you're always experiencing new things. You know, if you finish one piece, there's always another.
I think that when you get a little bit older and you're able to experience certain other things in life, and you meet people and you know, especially older people where they have these great stories, and you start taking all these things in, and you meet people outside of your comfort zone. Your ideas change, your passions change, and that can move into your art.
Don't quote me on this, but I think it was like Bruce Willis that said, I spent 10 years studying to become an overnight sensation.
I have a feeling I'm gonna probably croak while I'm in my studio, and I'm okay with that.
This is a dream of mine to have like one feature film that isn't terrible. I'm not gonna aim the bar low, but one feature film, and then have someone come up to me and say, hey man, I grew up watching that movie. It impacted me in a large way. Then I'm done. I can die happy.
Definitely want to take my art to the four corners of the globe. I'm like on some Bob Marley mission, you know, the four corners.
Through my personal art, I'd love to see more people outside of my initial community start to see my work and hopefully travel more because of it. I have friends overseas. I'd like to go meet some of those people. Many of them are artists. You know, I'd like to have the opportunity to bond with those folks and experience what it's like and what inspires their work at home, and for them hopefully to come and see me also.
Well, it would be really nice to picture myself actually making money. You know, I don't know. I could be different in 10 years, but right now, if I can just stay on the same path that I'm doing, if I can book more roles as far as acting goes, and just keep growing as a person, I don't know, I'm pretty happy with life.
I want to be part of Savannah's history and leaving a footprint here so that Savannah is permanently on the map as far as integrating and enabling this artist community.
I think what I'm really most interested in right now is kind of simplifying my life and just kind of still doing what I do, still addressing the issues that I want to address, but also just kind of living more simply, growing my own food and having just, you know, no drama, just being a lot more relaxed. And I think that's going to come from being more confident, you know, and just keep holding on to that. I also see the work expanding and getting bigger and maybe tackling issues that I might have been afraid or reluctant to address in previous times.
I have a lust for life, so my life goal is to, I mean, it's cliche, but my life goal is to have no regrets. And I mean, my old dream used to be, I want to be famous and everybody like my film. But as an artist, not everyone's gonna like your work. I just want to at least know that I impacted somebody, that my work touched somebody else's, and yeah.
I see myself as an old artist, like 90 years old, with a big old gray beard and bald head, and just hanging out painting, you know, on some Zen, like Hotep type of piece, and just painting and working it out, creating work, mentoring young artists, and being someone like to go to mentor, you know, someone who has, you know, touched all four corners of the planet and been able to share and build great relationships with people all over the planet, and sit back on that as a like 98-year-old or 102-year-old and just being content and happy of all that I've done artistically and people that I've shared my life with and shared my work with. That's where my satisfaction lies. You know, I want to be healthy and old and still getting it.
The DS now live a life just being themselves, which is what every artist should do. We invest our time to an artist's work because of what they can create. You never know how far your art will go.
That's the easiest way to become immortal. Leave the earth with something tangible, you know?
Your work is immortal. I mean, it's here. And the fact that it came through you from the cosmos it shows you, its existence was already ordained. So when you stamp it, either on a wall or on a canvas or a piece of wood or masonite or whatever, paper, you bring it to the surface for all to see. So therefore, it'll always be in somebody. Once people see it, especially if it makes an impact, it'll always be in their minds.
If you, as a visual artist, if it's just simply your understanding of color, if it's your understanding of form, texture, etc. As a musician, if it's simply the way you compose, the way you sing, the uniqueness of your voice, all those things can make an artist stand the test of time.
Well, look at Da Vinci. I mean, yeah, I think your work can definitely leave you immortal. Because it's a part of you that you leave behind. It's you hear music, musicians still move people.
Tupac made his music to inspire, to motivate, whether good or bad, to inspire people to do something, right? Kurt Cobain, I feel, even if he didn't do it on purpose, actively, his music still did that, and I think he was happy about that to a certain degree. So their legacy will always be that they came into the world with the idea of changing certain things through their art. Tupac wanted to change certain things. Kurt Cobain, whether or not he actively wanted to change things, he did. He changed the face of music. Then you have someone like Kaya, who her entire legacy will be my neck, my back, because she didn't come into the game with any purpose other than to make a couple bucks. She'll probably be immortal for making one of the stupidest but funniest songs of rap music history.
I remember the first time I was actually moved by a piece, a painting, and it was at the Museum d'Orsay in Paris, and it was this huge, grand painting back from, 1600s, and it was this intense scene. This guy's like digging his fingers into another man's flesh, and you see them, and it's just so vivid. And it was the first time that a painting, a piece of, just visual art, left me breathless. And the fact that a person who died, a zillion years ago can still affect me years later, I think that is immortality for sure.
But if you set out with the idea that I want people to hear what I do, I want people to see what I do and actually be motivated, a lot of times that will be your legacy. That will be what you leave the world with. Even if it's only with 150 people, you will be a legend to those 150 people. And you should be happy about that.
Study the technique. Don't allow your own concepts to be dismissed.
I mean, of course, a family, but the other big thing I want to leave is not a legacy, but just some pictures, some ideas, some interesting thoughts. And that's it.
I think that my legacy would be saying and doing what you want and not giving a you know what. I think that's a lot of the reason that people have gravitated towards me and towards the stuff I say in videos, because they like the fact that I'm not necessarily afraid to say what I feel, not necessarily afraid to say what I think, and because I present ideas that aren't probably so common in your average person like me, meaning a 35-year-old black man, especially living in the South.
I want it to have a purpose. I want it to be a good reflection in society. It's important to me that I can, if I can use my creativity to better something, to help a cause, or if you just to be a good role model in whatever you do. That's important to me, that my art has a purpose that is higher than myself.
If it were to happen, I just hope that what people would take away from what I've tried to do has been a sense of responsibility, being yourself, making work that is not only for yourself, but also hopefully inspires or makes other people think, as long as it's the real version of my work and not some trumped up idea of what it was all about or what I was all about, I think that would be lovely.
Leave the world with something that is a reflection of you, is a reflection of the world, is a reflection of the time that it was created in. It's the easiest way to become immortal.
And I truly feel that, you know, any artist that manifests to that level, they really reach the goal of what it is to be of stardust, you know, from the universe. You came back, you did it right.
We can all be immortalized through the art we create and the emotions and the thoughts and ideas that we share with others. And that lives on for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. Sometimes I feel like it is forgotten, and that's just part of nature. But that energy never goes anywhere. That energy is always shared. It's always one. There's always oneness.
Right here, run. Yeah. Yo, like, why are they talking to us? Exactly. No, I'm saying, no. I'm not trying to be rude about it, but like, Poe just got like 2 tracks out. Okay. 2 tracks better than your entire tape. Like, why is you talking to us? Right. This Poe's right here. Donald Day, nigga. Cooley S, nigga. Say who else, nigga? Okay. All right. Watch this. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall of your bars and fell straight into the mud of your sound. I helped the horse guys and kings